Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
President, in March this year, you received 3 petitions pursuant to Article 146 of the Constitution 1992 for the removal of Chief Justice Gertrude Asaba Araba Sakitokon, and the public was made aware of this fact. Subsequent processes dictated by the Constitution and the decisions of our Supreme Court were gone through, culminating in the establishment of our committee under Article 146, Clause 6 of the Constitution. The nation was further duly informed, and when we commenced our work on the 15th of May 2025, the Minister of State for Government Communications was briefed to notify the public about it. There has been considerable interest in our work, shown through comments and opinions by Ghanaians and international observers as well. However, the committee restrained itself all along from reacting, even when blatant false statements were made about members of the committee and our work. To the committee, our mandate and remit is set out under Article 146, Clauses 7 and 8 of the Constitution. It's clear, and it is to inquire into the petitions in camera. Here, the person against whom the petitions have been brought in her defense by herself or by her lawyer or other aspect of her case, and then make a recommendation to you, Mr. President. As I have said above, 3 petitions were referred to us, and though all 3 petitions seek the same relief, each petition is distinct and would succeed or fail on its individual strengths or weaknesses. Mr. President, without disclosing the substance of the proceedings, and since in-camera proceedings is not the same as in secret, we can state that in respect of the first petition, we received evidence by Mr. Daniel Ofori, the first petitioner, through 13 witnesses. Similarly, the Chief Justice in her defense called 12 witnesses, including expert witnesses, as she is entitled to do under the Constitution. The Chief Justice testified personally and was cross-examined. The committee received about 10,000 pages of documentary evidence from both sides. There were 4 lawyers that represented the first petitioner, Daniel Ofori, and 4 lawyers represented the Chief Justice. Mr. President, after critical and dispassionate examination and assessment of all the evidence, including the expert evidence, against the provisions of the Constitution and the relevant laws, we have, without fear or favor, arrived at a recommendation on the first petition. The recommendation is contained in the envelope which I now give to you.
Well, now let's bring you more from that. Dennis Wedampuaberi is here with me. Dennis, now that we know that a presentation has been made, what's next really?
Well, so looking at Article 146, which is the basis for this committee and all the work that it's been doing, we know it's been done in camera, also in accordance with the Constitution. The next step for the proceedings in this particular instance will be for the President to act in accordance with the recommendations of the committee. Mind you, in the chair of the committee's presentation, he did indicate that their recommendations or a report is contained in an envelope which was presented to the President. That presupposes at the point of presentation, the President did not know what actually is contained in there and what the recommendations would be. But the expectation is that once he looks at the recommendations of this particular committee, acting in accordance with Article 1469, which says that the President shall, in each case, act in accordance with the recommendations of the committee. So that will be the next line of action in respect of this whole proceedings that has gone a long way coming to today, knowing all the legal challenges that it has faced. But it's also instructive to state, listening from the chair of the committee, Justice Poamang, indicates that this is in respect of one petition. We know there were 3 petitions that were put before the committee. They looked at one, which is in respect of the Daniel Ofori petition. He gives some details as well as to how rigorous the process has been, to the fact that for the petitioner, he has as many as 13 witnesses coming to testify in that matter. In her defense for the Chief Justice, she had as many as 12 persons also coming to testify, including witnesses. She herself also testified in that. He also did indicate that they received as many as over 10,000 documents in respect of that particular proceedings. 4 lawyers for the petitioners, 4 lawyers for the Chief Justice in this particular matter. So looking forward is the fact that whatever is contained in that report that the committee presented to the President today, the President will be bound by the recommendations contained in that particular report that has been given to the President.
I see. Take us back into time, right? How did we get to this point?
Well, so it's basically the point that some persons presented a petition to the President, petitions to the President, including the one in respect of which we now have its report ready, to the effect that they wanted the Chief Justice to be investigated and possibly removed for certain things that she had done. Now, in matters that relate to the removal of Chief Justice, it is instructive to know that they are done in accordance with constitutional provisions, especially Article 146. Pursuant to that, the President, together with the Council of States, had to make a determination to even find merit in those petitions.
The commission is ready for tomorrow. Today, what is left is for us to do the packaging, and then at dawn, we set out to distribute our materials to all the 119 polling stations. And then the poll will kickstart at 7 o'clock in the morning at all the polling stations. And so if political parties are well organized, they can even put their figures together. And if they do that, what they arrive at should be the same thing as the coalition of South. So there is nothing like somebody hiding somewhere to do something. Everything is transparent, very transparent. And we also involve the political parties at all levels. My security, as we are aware, is the baby of the police. And they have assured us, in the presence of all the political parties who are contesting and the Electoral Commission, that they are going to give her their best. And if you have heard what is happening there, I think they are on course. Everybody was worried about what happened in Abrikumanov, and they have assured us that that is a thing of the past, and they are putting in all measures to ensure that we have a very peaceful election.
Now, MPP flag bearer aspirant Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia has stoked controversy for linking the numerous court battles deceased Akwetia MP Ernest Kumi faced to his death. Let's take a listen.
Na ne pressure no na ekosro court no be di asem no wieye be June 11th ho na court no say ampa onene the rightfully elected member of parliament for Akwetia. Sas sem no wieye 26 days per ena free mo 26 days inti Odriana odi enim lawyer odi enim edino court no sa lawyer no say na also obegina ama NDC for me say benchi for Akwetia for mama fasa akonia no emma sa lawyer no yamfama Solomon kwami asumedu na yanko nana bibia NS kase obeye ama Akwetia no ebebua kwami asumedu.
Well, the NDC has also been responding to this. Here's Deputy Director of IT and Elections, Rashid Tanko Computer, on the same comment that the former Vice President made.
You see, such reckless statement should not be coming for a statesman. Very reckless statement. A statesman of that stature should not be making such utterances. Have they forgotten so soon? In 2012, we won election, very clear mandate. They dragged our then president to court for 8 months wasted our time in court for 8 months. Was their intention to kill the president? The pressure they gave the then NDC administration, was it meant to give us torture? Is that what he's telling us? Asinov, what sent us to Asinov? Flimsy issues, they send us to court just to make sure that they get him out from parliament. The man went through trauma. He was in the forefront. He even came there severally, asking that they shouldn't vote for Jesse Christine again in the Asinov by-election. We beat them to it. What are they talking about? Is it the first time election petition has gone to court? We have gone to court severally. Indeed, MPs has been removed from parliament. They've been in parliament for 2 years and they were removed. The likes of a Williamson by-election that we held. Nyimakan was in parliament.
Oh, New Central co-anchor Mawena Egbeta is on the ground where many are asking that big question about who will win the seat come September 2nd, 2025, which is tomorrow. Let's join Mawena now and have a feel of events on the ground. Mawena, what can you report?
Come to me.
Right, Kameni, so over here at Akwetia, it's been all smooth up until this point. We know that of the many things expected to happen a lot later today, the Peace Council has requested for a meeting between the two leading parties, the NPP and then the NDC, preaching peace amongst many of the things that we've seen. We know there's a history here where there was a rerun of some polling stations in 2009. It resulted in a lot of violence. And so there's been a lot of security deployment. The NPP by themselves have been making quite a number of demands with respect to their let's just get to him right now. Thank you very much for joining us here on News Central. Your colleagues in the NPP, they've raised quite a number of concerns about the police presence here and the fact that they do not want to see masked police officers here, and are asking as well for the disclosures of all of the personnel who will be safeguarding this election. Are you, on your part, also willing to support this call for peace to prevail during this by-election?
This is not an election to negotiate peace. It will be peaceful anyway, by force, by crook, by hook. The MPP is now acceding to politics of excuses and accusation. They have not been here. They only came to this constituency 3 days ago. We have been here in the last 3 weeks. So if you only came a few days ago, tomorrow is election, you are now making complaints. In any case, who are the masked police officers they are talking about? For any violence that have happened elsewhere, we have always known who the people are. So for them to be talking about masked police officers is cartoon lioning. They are speaking to what doesn't exist, just to scare people in Accra as if there's something wrong here. There's nothing wrong here. Look, we are fully in charge of this election. Every single process, we have taken full control. All political parties are aware, as far as the NPP is concerned. We are cooperating with the police to ensure that the right thing is done. Beyond that, the police have made it known to all of us that the military do not have a role in this election. However, they will be on standby as we have always done. That convention is always known to all of us. NPP is suddenly calling for names of deployed officers to be given to them. In what capacity? Is it a new convention?
They say they want to know the person so that they can report anybody who will engage in any illicit or activity that will mar the elections.
Who are they? What capacity are they asking the police to give them a list of deployed police officers? In what capacity? You see, we shouldn't allow these people to distract all of us with their ignorance. In what capacity are they asking for security debriefing in terms of list of deployed personnel? We all know that every single police officer that is supposed to be on duty as far as the election would have their name tag deployed. In fact, we also know specific uniforms that they use, normally different from the traditional police officers on that day. So what is new? What has changed? This is a song of excuses. They know they have lost the election. They will try to distract, but we will hold them to the right thing.
Let's talk that meeting with the Peace Council is expected a lot later this afternoon, 2 p.m. On your part, what is the commitment you're taking into this meeting with the Peace Council?
We are here to protect votes. And we are here to ensure that for the first time, at least, we'll have a by-election without violence. That is our hope. We know that people will try to do certain skirmishes. The police, from what I do know, are ready to combat or to crack the whip on political violence. And so we are cooperating with them to ensure that is done. I can also assure the MPP that they can't do nothing. They will not be left with any room to maneuver.
And by that, what do you mean?
What I mean is that they will not be, we are not here to do their bidding. We are here to do our bidding. We are here to win the election. And so they will not have us discuss what affects them. They will adhere to the rules of election. They will not be given any room. Look, I hear they are complaining about. I hear they have brought up their retired police officers who have aligned to MPP. The human being was in police service, couldn't do anything. Will he do anything on his retirement? They can't do nothing.
So, right. On your part, the assurance is that as a party in government, you're going to ensure this by-election is free of violence.
Yes, it's a legacy for us to do this election violence-free. And so that is what we are adhering to. You can see how peaceful the atmosphere looks. Doesn't look like anybody is preparing violence here. But since yesterday, they brought some people to Junase. They brought some people to Kobrisu here. We are aware. But any time they told me, I said, leave them. They are here to observe election. If they are men, let them do anything untoward or unlawful.
Then the police will take charge.
The police, they will be ransacked and will be dealt with. But what the MPP is currently afraid of is that because they have a lot of their members on wanted list, they will make noise for that.
That comment you made about persons being arrested here, they said that you don't have the capacity to be making such comments. That should be the task of investigative bodies, and so you shouldn't be sending out warnings that persons will be arrested. Arrested on what basis?
The persons who are on wanted list, they know themselves. If they are men, they should come here. Including former appointees. If they are men, they should come. And MPs who are conducted themselves criminally and cannot be arrested because of parliamentary immunity.
Who is going to arrest them? You are going to arrest them?
We'll help the police to arrest them. I'm saying they will be arrested. If they are men, let them come. We are here. Look, they should not think that the NDC is some soft political party that will yield to their threats and unlawful comments. We are here to do an election, by-election. It's a simple exercise. Can NDC, MPP go back to that transition where we conduct elections and we all play with each other and we finish and we go home? It's simple. We can go there. It's one man, one vote. It's not going to be a one that will allow anybody to double vote. And no. Everybody will do the right. So I can assure you that we ourselves are here to ensure that the election is peaceful.
Thank you. So that's Mustafa Gbande. He's Deputy General Secretary of the NDC as well, occupies the deputy position at the presidency in charge of security. And all throughout the township as well, Kemeni, it's been police checkpoints at different areas as they continue to ensure that persons are checked thoroughly. We've been monitoring that all throughout the morning. And the campaigns door-to-door as well has been going on up until now, all in the build-up towards tomorrow, where the much-anticipated election will come off.
Very well, Mawena, thank you so much for the report. And Mawena Egbeta there. Remember that your election command center will bring you every minute of that by-election here on Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. But we'll stay on the subject. Let's connect now with a political analyst on the subject matter. Thank you so much, Prof, for talking to us this afternoon. But let's start off, Prof, let's start off now, Doc, with the events taking place or that have taken place over the last few days in Akwetia. First, with the comment that the flag bearer aspirant and former Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has made at that funeral or the 1 week memorial event of the deceased member of Parliament, right? The NDC has responded to it as well, but it would appear that they think that the comment is distasteful. Is this just political campaigning, or indeed you think the comments were distasteful?
Well, I mean, you know, when it comes to politics, sometimes you tend to look at how the situation would run. And I believe that the former vice president was trying to take an advantage of the emotional state of the people and trying to use that as a political advantage for the people to accept that the former MP was through these things that made him to pass on. That is what politics try to set across. That you know, in politics, sometimes you might even wonder whether there's a sense of kind of a way for the dead, and also to use in a way to push people to the wall for them to canvass for votes. And that is what the politicians are trying to do all this while. They take advantage of situation and then tend to perpetrate their own interest for them to get the votes that they want to get power. And I think that is what the former vice president was trying to do, and for people of Akotia, especially for the party members, what to use to appeal to their conscience, maybe through sympathy vote, as some have been trying to do most of these by-elections. That's what they try to do. And in Ghana, mostly people tend to use emotional messages in a way to send across.
Indeed, but Doc, where do we draw the line, right, between that campaigning and then stoking unnecessary sentiments towards your opponent? For instance, like in this case, someone has died, and then the aspirant says it's because of the pressures from the other side. We can't even call it fact, can we?
Yes, definitely. But you know, politics, they have various ways of trying to get the people, you know, and that is why if you don't have a discerning voter, they take an advantage of that. So the way some of these politicians try to take situations in a certain way, sometimes in the normal circumstance you can't use this, but because of power is what motivates them to use some of these statements or some of these. So you tend not to understand, but that is what they tend to use it. And sometimes it's quite unfortunate, but that is what both sides, I'm not talking about only the MP, they tend to, the politicians tend to use that. It's one of the political strategies that they tend to use, which is not ethically right, but they tend to use it. That is for the politicians.
I see.
It's so interesting, you know. Sometimes when you are far, you tend to smile or tend to make some kind of, you know, just to make it funny in a way. But in the more serious notes, it's so baffling that, you know, politicians will tend to accuse each other. I think they know themselves. They know how things work. They know how they have been in government, and also they also been in government before. So you see, sometimes they play the minds of the people, and that is what the politician tries to do. And so it's quite unfortunate that they will accuse the other side, and they also have a risk. If it were to be the NDC on the other side, they could have also used the same thing. So, but I believe that the IGP should try to ensure that they try to make things clearer. No, I don't see why police or even security agents will tend to have parts. You know, I think we have to grow as a country in terms of our democracy, where we have people who have their tagged security agencies having their tag, having their names, and even body cameras and those things in them. You know, we have to move away from these kind of perception that we have some people within the security agencies that will tend to perpetuate party agenda. I think we have to avoid that, and I think the IGP can improve on that, so that perception, you know, is a perception that has been in these elections and even some of our runoff elections, where we have these marks, and I think we can have a lot of examples of Ayahuasca and some other places where we have these masks. And I think they fear. So it's like when you have something in your cupboard, they say skeleton in your cupboard, you tend not to accuse the other of those kind of things, and it's there. But I believe that the IGP we will make things work for this time to avoid some of these things or reoccurring in our nations.
Doc, let's look at the context itself. There are 3 political parties, 3 candidates, so to speak, in the race, but it's turning out to be a 2-horse race between the NDC and the NPP. What do you think about the candidates in question, Asumedu on one hand and Baidu on the NDC side?
You know, when you look at the constituency history of Apotia, I think we cannot say that it's a stronghold. You know, in politics, when we say it's a stronghold, you tend to make that constituency or that area as it's for a particular group of people, or let's say for a particular party. But Apatia is not known. I think when you look at the election so far, apart from the 1992 where there was no contest, from 1996 to up to 2024, each of the parties, that's the MPP and the NDC, have 4 each in terms of the parliamentary. And you know, when you check from the 1996 coming to 2012, you realize that the vote difference between those any party that will win is at least it's been declining. In the 1996, you realize that 8,000 different votes, 2,000, 3,000, 2004 that was 1,000, 2008 it was 600 different, and 2012 it was 300 different. Except that in 2016, where we have 5,000, and 2020 we have 1,000, and 2024 we have 2,000 difference in terms of whoever wins. So realize that the differences are not much, except maybe during the 2016 where the MP won with that is Amase. So that constituency cannot be a stronghold for each that is these 2 parties, and that is what makes it so. Any party that will win, one, the constituency, there should be party unity. At the same time, the candidate should be one of them, attractive, and also that the people can identify with them, and also the party the strategy as well. And I think that each side can win the seat depending on how they're able to strategize within the constituency.
Indeed, Doc, your time and insight on the subject matter is much appreciated. Dr. Samuel Efriye is a political analyst. We've just been looking at that.
PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.